One of the best things that ever happened to me, about 3 or 4 years into my Christian walk, I was still struggling with a lot of the things that I had struggled with before I got saved. You kind of have this thing that once I get saved, I'm not going to struggle anymore. But I was still struggling. And so I felt like a hypocrite. Now, I know all of you can relate. You might not want to say, yes, I can relate. You might want to sit there and be a hypocrite right now, but you can relate. And I felt like a hypocrite. I felt like a fake, a fraud, a phony. All these people love God, but, they don't know I'm still dealing with stuff I shouldn't be dealing with. And so I told the Lord one day, I said, I feel like two people. I feel like the person, you remember too, that after I got saved, I was preaching very quickly. So I feel like the person on the stage preaching to others and yet then going out and still having the thoughts and the struggles that I shouldn't still have. So I feel like a fraud. I feel like two people. And so the Lord said to me, would you like for me to fix that? Just like that. And I said, yeah, I would. And so he said, okay, I want you to write down everything you've ever done, wrong, evil, or disgusting, that no one knows about. I want you to write it down on a piece of paper. And so I did. I guarded the piece of paper, and I didn't put my name on it. And I already had a plan worked out. If someone found it, I'd say, yeah, this guy gave that to me to pray about. And so, but I wrote down all these things that I thought I wouldn't want anyone to know I ever did that. But I did. And then I actually thought that the Lord was going to say, now burn it and you'll be free. Just get you one of those big butane lighters and just burn it, and you will never have another problem again. But he didn't. He said to me, this is when I was at Shady Grove Church with Pastor Olen Griffing, that is our Grand Prairie campus now. He said to me, I want you to read everything on that piece of paper to Pastor Olen. And I shared with him for several days why that was a bad idea. But finally, I decided I'm going to. So I said to him one day, we were alone, I said, I need to tell you some things about me. And I told him, I went through the entire list. I said, I've done this, I've thought this, I've said this, I've lied about this, I've covered this up. Here are things about me nobody knows. I got to the end of the list, and I said, that's it. He said, is there anything else? I said, no. I'll never forget his response. He said, Robert, I've done everything on that list. And he said, and I'll bet you 90% of our church has too.